In this lesson, we'll talk about a simple but quite useful return statement of a function known as not implemented. We know that a function or method can return the result of its calculation, or it can raise some exception if something is wrong with the input arguments. But there is a third thing a function can return, and that is known as not implemented. Before we see its use, let's first see a case which can be easily solved with this approach. Here we have a simple point class having the init method and under str method for proper representation of the point. In main program, one point is created on line number 11. Suppose I want to multiply a point with a number, and for that I'll add special method dundermul in my class. It will have two input arguments, self and num. I am not using other as second input argument because I am not going to multiply 2 points, but I want the point self multiplied by a number, so I'll name it as num. This method will return a point with x and y components as num times x component of self and num times y component of self. I can test it in main program as p2 equal to p1 times 3, for example. P2 will be a point object as returned by dundermul method, and if we print this point, it will be correctly printed as -612, which is 3 times P1. But now if instead of P1 times 3, if I change it to 3 times P1 and run the program, you will see that it generates a type error that unsupported operand for multiplication int and point. Basically, the dunder method we created in our class defines multiplication between point and a number, but it fails between a number and a point. We'll see the reason for this failure in a while and then solve it using not implemented approach. But first let's see what is meant by returning not implemented by a function. To understand that, we'll see a real life example. Suppose you work at an insurance company and are sitting on top left corner of the screen. A client approaches to you looking for some insurance policy. After verifying necessary details, you provide him with his insurance policy or plan. This behavior is equivalent to returning the correct result by a function. On the other hand, if for some reason, for example the city he belongs to is not under your assigned areas, or any other reason, if you do not have policy for him, you will refuse to him. This is equivalent to raising exception by a function. Now there can be a third possibility. When you don't have the policy for him, but you know one of your colleagues sitting at bottom right side of the screen might have policy for him. So instead of straightaway refusing him, you will direct him towards her, hoping that she will have policy for him. You are not sure that she will provide him with a policy, but you are just hoping for that. And it depends on her and the client's details if she can provide him with some policy or not. This behavior is equivalent to returning not implemented by a function, which means that the function is unable to find the result but is not raising the exception. Rather, the function is transferring the control to another function known as reflection function, hoping that the reflection function will find the result. Let's first see how Python handles not implemented. Firstly, the reflection function for different functions are preset in Python, and you cannot make some function as reflection of some other function. For example, reflection function of dundermul is dunderrmul. Now when a function returns not implemented, Python will run the reflection function but on the flipped input arguments. Means that second input argument of original function will be passed as first input argument of the reflection function, and first input argument of the original function will be passed as second input argument of the reflection function. So let's see what is happening on line number 12. I'll write the sequence of operation Python performs on line number 12 as a comment on line number 13. When 3 into p1 is executed, Python actually runs the special method associated with that, which is dundermul. So it executes 3._mul p1. This method is applied on 3, which is an integer and not the object of our point class. So Python will look for this method inside int class available in built-in module. Python will find the method there, but that is defined for multiplication of int with other numbers or maybe other data types, but not with custom class objects like point. And in case dunder-mull method of int class has unspotted type of object, it returns not implemented. This is coded inside int class and we shouldn't worry about that. So when not implemented is returned, Python will run the reflection method on flipped input arguments. Reflection method of mull is rmull, and with flipped input arguments it will be applied on p1 and 3 will be other input argument. So now you can see that this method is applied on p1, which is a point class object. So Python will look for this method inside point class. In point class we don't have this method _rmull_. So it goes back to the original function in int class and raises the exception which we saw earlier. So if you have followed along this sequence, you should be able to figure out the solution for this case. And that is, we should define _rmull_ reflection method in our class. So let's do that here. What should the rmull do? Rmull is applied on point object with a number to multiply those. So it should do exactly the same which dunder_mull is doing. So we can copy paste that code, but it's never a good idea. What we can do is we can write self times num and it will call the mull method. Even a better solution can be simply writing rmull equal to mull, which means rmull is pointing to same object as mull. So it's just this line number 9 which we have added in our code, and now if we run the code, you will see that we get the correct output instead of error. So you can see how a simple concept of not implemented and reflection function can solve the problem we had. Let's see more function and reflection function pairs. Like we have rmull as reflection function for mull, we have radd as reflection function for add, and so on for other functions. And same pattern is for these functions. There are a couple of more methods and associated reflection functions. We didn't study those methods in the last lesson, so I haven't added those here as well. But you can see Python documentation for that. Finally, we have functions and reflection functions pairs for comparison operators. For example, LT for less than and GT for greater than are reflection functions of each other. Likewise, less than equal to and greater than equal to are reflection functions of each other. The function equal to is reflection of itself, and so as not equal to. The reason is if self equal to other is not possible, maybe other equal to self will work by not implemented and reflection function. Hence equal to should be reflection function of itself and so as not equal to. This is because of these reflection functions that we are able to use less than when just greater than is defined in our class. Let's see how we are able to use less than while just having greater than defined in our point class. For that we will define greater than method, but before that let's add absolute method as basis of our comparison. Now let's define greater than method. Let's test it on p2 greater than p1. And the result is correct because p2 magnitude is greater than p1. Now let's test it as p2 less than p1. The result is correct even though we don't have less than function defined in our class. What's happening is actually when we run p2 less than p1, Python tries to run p2._lt_p1. This method is not in point class. In such case, Python moves to a class named as object available inside built-in module. Actually, there is something known as method resolution order, which specifies the order of classes in which a method is searched by the Python. We'll see its detail when we study class inheritance. At this stage, it is enough to know that a class named as object inside built-in module is present inside method resolution order of each class we create. So if Python fails to find a method in our class, it will look for that method in this class. So Python will find lt method there, but that is not defined for point class objects. And in such case, it returns not implemented. We know that when not implemented is returned, Python will execute the reflection method which is greater than. And it will also flip the order of the operands. So this method will be applied on P1 while P2 will be the other operand. When applied on P1, which is the point class object, Python will look for this _gt_ method in point class which is available. And this is exactly what we want when P2 less than P1 is executed, that it should run P1 greater than P2. So that's how this not implemented and reflection methods can be very useful. Now let's see the review questions of this lesson. Consider the case of having the list of all subjects when two students are added. We did it with this dunder_add method. In review question of lesson 11, we saw that student 1 plus student 2 plus student 3 generates error. So now you have to do it using the techniques we learnt in this lesson, such that any number of students could be correctly added. In second question, you have to write the magic method dunder_eq for point class to check the equality of 2 points. The method should declare 2 points equal when both have same x attribute and both have same y attribute. Moreover, you need to add another feature. Consider the point class object, for example p1 equal to 0.23. Also consider a tuple, for example t1 equal to 23. Of course, the point object and tuple are not equal, although they have same values. So modify dunder_eq method in a way that we can compare point class object and the tuple as p1 equal to t1 or t1 equal to p1. And this should print the correct result. You will have to use type function inside the method to first see the type of the second input argument other, and also use the concept of reflection function to make it work in both orders, like p1 equal to t1 and t1 equal to p1. We have completed our discussion on single class, and after our task in next lesson we'll move towards multiple classes. But before that, let's have a look at some built-in class of Python and see how those are coded there. Let's go for datetime module and search _repr_. You will reach here, which is repr method inside time delta class inside this module. Time delta class is created to represent difference between two datetime objects. You can see underscores with data attributes, for example _days, _seconds and _milliseconds, as it is needed in getter methods. Then there is dunder_str method. Total _seconds is the instance method. Then you can see getter methods using property decorator. Note that method name is day and the attribute returned is _days to avoid recursion in getter method. And so as for other getter methods. Then is this dunder_add method to add two time delta objects, and notice that it returns not implemented, so that if other is not a time delta object, the control will be transferred to the reflection function. And then is radd equal to add, as we did for mul in our point class. Likewise, you can see other special methods. It will be a good activity if you spend some time and explore this module, and you will understand most of the code written by highly professional developers. That's all from this lesson. Thanks for watching.